the sound? Yeah. Do you hear the sound? Do you hear the sound?
Do you hear it?
Do you hear the sound?
Yeah.
Do you hear the sound?
You hear that?
Do you hear the sound? Do you hear the sound?
Yeah. Do you hear the sound of the rain? Do you hear that sound? Do you hear that sound now? Do you hear that sound? Do you hear that sound now? Do you hear that sound? Do you hear that sound now? Do you hear that sound? Do you hear the sound of the rain? Hey, what's going on? What it did, what it doing, what it does. This is your boy Sound, and I'd like to welcome you to the official Sound of the Rain podcast, and this is episode 1. Let me take this time to introduce myself. My name is Sound of the Rain. Actually, my name is Jonathan. My stage name is Sound of the Rain, and you are tuned in right now to episode 1 of my new podcast. I decided to do a podcast because I wanted to kind of have a way to provide content to the people that support me and that were interested in, I don't want to call them fans because the word fan is short for fanatic, and I don't want people to be, fanatical of me or engrossed with me. So, I look at the people that, digest my content or follow me. I look at them as supporters. So I wanted to make something that my supporters will be able to kind of have to listen to kind of stay engaged, to get feedback, information, updates, things like that. I've been wanting to do a podcast for a long time. I was going to do one about nerd culture, where I talked about like video games, comic books. I wanted to do one documenting my health journey. This is my first time actually doing a podcast, so if it's a little rough around the edges, just kind of bear with me as I kind of get the hang of things. The purpose of this first episode is to really just introduce you to Sound of the Rain. What the name means, where it came from, what I'm doing, music-wise, what I got going on, and this podcast is going to be real leisure, real chill. It's something that, I can talk about anything that I want to. If I come on here one week and I'm like, I want to talk about my favorite food, it's just a way to engage with the supporters. It's going to be kid friendly. It's going to be family friendly, meaning that if you're a parent, and you're concerned about, language and kind of content or topic matter, and it's something that you want to listen to in the car with your kids, it'll be safe to do that. Be forewarned, I might drop an N-bomb every now and then, but I'll try to do my best. It probably won't be too hard since I'm doing this by myself. So Sound of the Rain is the stage name that I go by, the artist name, and it has a few meanings to it. So I love rain. Like it's my favorite weather, not necessarily to be in, to be driving and navigating in, but to just actually like be at home, laying down, like on the couch, total silence, and just hearing the raindrops like fall on the ceiling. That's just like the most peaceful, intimate, just environment. I love it. And so when I was choosing a name, I wanted to pick a name that was something that people wouldn't call me. That was kind of like it sounds like a band name, Nobody's gonna run up to me and be like, "Yo, what's up, Sound of the Rain?" And I was trying to disassociate myself with a previous moniker that I had, because I identified with it like it was my identity as a person. Not that there was anything wrong with it, but for me personally, it was my identity. It gave me validation as a human being, right? Matter of fact, there's probably people that know me by that name that still don't even know my real name. At this point, as I've grown and matured and kind of, been humbled in some areas, it's cool. I'm cool with it now. But there was a time and a period where I just need to kind of pull myself away and disassociate myself from that. So I chose Sound of the Rain because, one, it was something that wasn't like something somebody could call me. Like I said, it sounded like a band name. And two, the word rain, I actually changed the spelling from R-A-I-N to R-A-I-G-N. And so it's a cross between the word Raign, R-E-I-G-N, and Rain, R-A-I-N. And so the R-E-I-G-N, Raign, was to signify and to represent my music being a sound of the reign of my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So I'm a Christian, I'm a believer, I love God, I'm Bible fearing. I don't know if that's a correct term or phrase. I'm Bible believing, God fearing. I'm not perfect in the slightest. I'm actually far from it. I'm a sinner, saved by grace. I'm still learning and getting this thing. I'm actually really kind of mentally regrowing in some areas and kind of just coming to some realizations, some things, and so I'm kind of feel like I'm at step one. So that's what the Raign came from. So I wanted my music that I was making at the time, because I was going to be solely doing Christian music, Christian rap music. So I wanted my music to be a sound of his reign, being that he's the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. I wanted it to represent, his reign on the throne, right? And then I mixed that with the Raign. I love the sound of the Raign. It's just a personal like of mine. It's peaceful, so I just combined the two. So fast forward to now, I've actually broadened my range as far as my music. I'm not doing solely Christian music, and it's entering a genre of music called nerdcore. Now I gotta thank my kids for this, because I had never even heard of this or knew it was a thing, right? So nerdcore, what it is it's a genre of music to where people make music about nerdy things like video games, comic book characters, stuff like that. And when I heard this, it like blew my mind, because I'm like totally into that stuff, right? And so I was like, whoa, I never actually thought to make music about that. So I'm listening to a lot of this stuff, and it's like really good. And I'm like, dang, like this is crazy. And it allowed me to kind of, because when me making Christian music, I'm gonna be totally honest, for me, it is very challenging, because I feel very boxed in, and I feel like my topics or what I can talk about is very narrowed. And I also felt like skill wise, I was holding back when I was making Christian music, because I felt like it had to be a certain way. Like I'm walking in like to this holy divine temple, and it's a sacred place, and I don't want to step on the wrong thing or break any ornaments. I just had to be real careful with it. And that's how I was approaching the music. But my skill and my talent exceeded that, right? And it wasn't anything that I read in the Bible that made me, feel like, okay, I got to keep my music a certain way. These were just things that I had built up in my mind. So that's how I was making that approach. So when I was doing strictly secular music, my topic of choice a lot of times tended to stray towards, some of my content was very gangster, if you will. I would say more so lyrically, I would try, it wouldn't be me. What I was doing was rapping and trying to prove like, hey, I'm a better rapper than you. But being that in the hip hop culture, it's like kind of the norm for people to talk about things like, gunplay and, very violent things. It was something that I adopted. I think about a song I did with my group that I'm in called Ground Zero. And I said, cock Glock pop till you drop. I got killers on the payroll, stuff like that. Right. And I was young. I was just doing what I thought, was cool or what I knew. When in actuality, like at that point in my life, I had never even touched a gun before. Right. So it was just like part of it. It just was part of me. So fast forward, I'm gonna probably say that a lot. Y'all can play a drinking game. Well, every time he says fast forward, take a shot. So fast forward. I tried to make that's supposed to be the sound of a cup. Anyway, yeah, since nerdcore music, right? I could rap about things that maybe involved things that were a little more, I don't want to say violent, but a little more edgy, but it could be coming from the perspective of a video game character. So if I say, hit them with a pistol, run up on them with a missile to the whistle. Like, that was off the top of my head, bars. But I can say something like that, but I could be rapping from the perspective, like, this song's about Call of Duty. So nobody's gonna listen to this song and think like, oh, this dude thinks he's tough, he thinks he's thugging. They're just gonna be like, oh, yo, this is a song about Call of Duty, armies, war, soldiers. Like, yo, this is dope, right? And when I was doing the previous music I was doing, when you rap about certain things and you talk about certain things, there's an element that comes with it, and there's an environment that it puts you in, and people that don't know you, they just listen to your music and they assume and they believe and they think that you are a certain way. And there were times where that element was invited into my life, and that wasn't something that I really liked or cared for. So, that was another reason I wanted to kind of separate myself from that. So that's where the name Sound of the Rain came from. So as I was trying to, for a long time, I've been looking to do something to where I was creating content, whether it was a podcast, YouTube. I wanted to use my gifts and talents to be able to provide financially for myself and my family. So I've been around the world, and it done drove me crazy. I've been around the world trying to find something to do, and long story short, I ended up where I started at. And I say that to say that anybody that's wanting to do something, I encourage you to just go out there and start and do it, right? Because I done came up with a bunch of names. I was gonna go by, as a stage name, I was gonna go by JB, which is my initials. I was gonna go by Jonathan. I was gonna do a whole bunch of stuff. It ended up coming back to Sound of the Rain. And the reason I came back to Sound of the Rain, honestly, was because the name is very unique. And I didn't see that name taken anywhere. Nowadays, everybody's, a lot of people are doing things, so it's really hard to find a name that's unique or something that stands out. So also the way that I was spelling it made it stand out as well. So I already had put out some music back in like 2014 under Sound of the Rain, which was some Christian rap music. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and keep the name. And so I don't really think to my knowledge, I don't know of any Christians in the nerdcore space. And to my knowledge, I don't know of any nerds in the Christian space. So it's kind of got me in a weird spot. But at this point, I'm not trying to like pull either audience or run a lane or make my own lane. I'm just gonna create content, and then the people that like it and enjoy it, I want them to come to it and digest it. So that's where the name Sound of the Rain came from, and that's how I ended up, going with it as a stage name, kind of out of convenience. And so now I'm making Christian / nerdcore music. But there might be times that I might make a song that it might not fall under either one of those categories, but it won't be anything that goes out of my convictions as a man or as a believer, as a person, just period. So with that being said, I've got quite a few songs out right now in the digital store space. First song that I put out was The Prelude, and it's spelled the Praylude. So Prelude is a beginning, and this was like I felt like this was my first step out into me doing something, especially on a solo tip. And I decided, you know what, I want to give this to God. This is my first going out. This is my first thing, and it was a really personal song, and it's one that I really loved. And it was like one of those songs that I did that I didn't care if anybody else liked it or not. And I don't mean that in a selfish way, but it's just some music that you create. Deep down, I be feeling like nobody's gonna like this, but man, it really hits my heart. I really like this. And surprisingly, a lot of people, did care for it. Then there was a song I put out called How We Roll, which was kind of like I was doing these things called I'm Free verse. So where to me, it wasn't a song. It was just like one verse with a hook. So I did How We Roll, and then I did a song called Lovely, which I love both of those. If I could find the the files, the masters for Lovely, I actually would either re-record it or add another verse to that. I really like that song. But and that was a song I didn't think other people would like, and I don't really remember how the reception was. Marketing is something I'm working on as well. So I put out those 3 songs, and then I put out, that was it. So 6 years later, I come back and I'm doing this Sound of the Rain thing, and so it's nerdcore. So I'm actually having different aliases is under my name. Like, so how Eminem, he's Marshall Mathers, he goes by Eminem, he goes by Slim Shady, so for me, my alias was the Red Ranger. I had this fascination with the Red Power Ranger, not necessarily like just like Jason or him as a person, but I just think the suit looks like so cool. Like, if I could be a superhero, like I would want my suit to look something like that. I couldn't rock no tights, but it would be something along those lines, right? So it was Sound of the Rain, aka the Red Ranger, aka Strider High Ryu. Strider is a video game, and the character, his name is High Ryu, but he's a warrior called a Strider. And so that was like, those are my aliases. So if you ever hear me mention those, that's what I'm talking about. On my song The Calm, that's why I bringing that up, because I'm mentioning the first song that I put out was called The Calm. So in my head, if you listen to it, it's kind of like a story, and I'm just kind of setting the stage for the beginning of my career, or my step out into this world, right? And it was supposed to be the intro of this mixtape I was going to put out called The Attack of the Red Ranger Volume 1. And I was procrastinating and taking forever as far as putting out music. And the reason was because the process of making the music for me was very strenuous and stressful and frustrating. And so I was producing my own music, I was mixing it, I was mastering it, I was recording it, and it's hard and it's a lot, but I've gotten better at it. So I had made some beats for this song, the Calm, and then finally I've come across a situation where I have tons of beats, tons of production, and I decided to use one of those. Now, my hesitation in using those beats was that on a monetary level, I would be splitting up the profits, and also I have a limited use on what I can do with those beats. But for the sake of just getting out there and going and saying, you know what, I'm tired of procrastinating, I wanted to do something, I went ahead and rhymed over the beat. So, like I said, the song is kind of like telling a story. I say Strider High Ryu, desires in a piece, reciting haikus, infiltrate Shadow Moses. Like, Shadow Moses is from a video game called Metal Gear. And infiltrate Shadow Moses like Jaeger, I am designed to. Frank Jaeger is a character from Metal Gear called Gray Fox, and he infiltrated Shadow Moses as a ninja. So it's just all this kind of like nerd stuff, right? So The Calm, that's the first one that I put out. And then I got a little more comfortable with the process, put another song out, still using those beats, getting better at mixing, getting better at mastering. And so I kind of feel like I've hit my stride, The next few songs that I have coming out are going to be, one of them is going to be nerd related, and the other two are going to be kind of more, I guess you could say more on the Christian side. So What You Know About That is a song I have coming out. Then I have Mama's Boy and Fly Away. Fly Away is potentially the first single of an album I'm working on. I had initially announced it being called Jesus in Video Games, but I don't know if that's one I'm gonna go with now. I'm kind of feeling different creatively, in a different space mentally, so I don't know if that's the kind of the route I want to go, or I might just put the song out. Like, that's one thing too. Like, I've been so it's been so long since I've been putting out stuff that I get so impatient. Like as soon as I create it, I want everybody to hear it, and so I'll put it out. So it's like, dang, do I have the patience to actually put an album out? So that's another reason I created the podcast. So I'll feel like I can work on an album and still, communicate with the supporters and, do things and, talk about things. And even, I might have episodes where I just sit here and freestyle or something like that, but, yeah, that's pretty much where that goes. What you know about that? That's a song I was actually struggling with coming up with a name for it, because it's kind of nerdy. It's kind of similar to that song I put out called Good Guys, but I couldn't really think of a title for it. And so in the chorus I say, what you know about that? And so I was like, you know what, I'll just make that the name of the song. Mama's Boy. It's not, the title is kind of misleading. I'm not talking about my relationship with my mother, but what the song is about is about a man growing up, a man's journey from, being coddled, being in the nest, and, being fearful of stepping out in life, and him actually stepping out and just facing the world. And so it's kind of like a metaphor. And the mom represents safety, and the world is the unknown, stepping out into the unknown. So, and it's all, it kind of can in a sense also be like a tribute to my mom as well. So then Fly Away, which I'm really excited about. And see this, I'm excited about the song. Y'all might hear and be like, man, it's trash. But I'm excited about it because it's got a lot of sing-songiness to it, which is really reminiscent of my favorite musician, Crazy Bone. And so it's heavily influenced by him, but I don't, as far as the rapping, I almost was gonna really try to swagger jack and steal his style. As far as my raps, I'm like, nah, that's not, I don't rap like that. I wouldn't feel comfortable doing it, but there's definitely some influences from Crazy Bone, like for real, but what that song is about, that's my timer. I set it to let myself know when I got 5 more minutes to but what the song is about is kind of similar in a sense to Mama's Boy. And Mama's Boy I wrote, man, it's been over a decade. Might have been longer than that. I wrote it when I was at church, going to a church, and I was part of a songwriting group, and I was at my mother-in-law's house, and I wrote the song there. I remember, and I wrote it very fast, and because something that happened to prompt me to write it, and I just was, my hand was just moving fast, and it was just going. But yeah, so that song is like mad old, but Fly Away is still similar in that same space of as far as like fear and stepping out. So that being a common theme, it lets you know that that's something that I still deal with. So I try to share my life and be as transparent as I can in a sense that still protects my privacy, because I'm a very, very private person. I'm an introvert, which is crazy, being like a musician or artist, because it garners a lot of attention, which I don't necessarily like. I don't want to say, which I don't necessarily like. Just be honest. That's why I kind of like the aspect and the ability of being able to make music digitally and online, because it kind of allows me to. My goal is to be a digital artist 100%. I ain't looking to go out there and rock no shows. Like if you get a performance from me, it might be a live stream. Now granted, there might be a time where, I get invited to a video game convention and they want me to do a song or something, but that's way far down the line. I'm looking to be as private and as close with it as I can, but I want to kind of wrap it up. If I feel like I was rambling, I apologize. I was supposed to kind of come up with a script for this episode, and I kind of just freestyled it. But thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in to Sound of the Raign, the official podcast. And we will catch you soon. Peace.